Welcome back to another U.S. license plates tutorial. I don't know if tutorial is the right word. Uh, I'm going to play this map for U.S. license plates, and I do have a Wikipedia page up at the moment with U.S. license plates. This is I shouldn't have to say it. Don't do this during a tournament. Don't do this during whatever. But this is for practice. This is to try to help people learn U.S. license plates, especially in conjunction with U.S. flora. I'm actually pretty good at that somehow. I don't know how, but just in trying to get people better at guessing the U.S. because even though I'm new at GeoGuessr, I want to be very, very good at the U.S. because I like the U.S. I live here. I am also planning on doing a series on Canada. I don't know Canada as well. I do see Ontario and Quebec plates almost every day. But for now, I'm just focusing strictly on the U.S. So this is just going to be probably 2, maybe 3 rounds of this U.S. license plates created by the Desperado, 107 locations. There's one other U.S. license plates map. It's got only 50 locations, 1 per state. So I figured I'd do this. It's got a few more. Might give a little bit more diversity into the license plate. Just learning the license plates. And as we go, I have mentioned before, Gen 4 cameras, Gen 4 blurring makes license plate guessing a little bit more difficult. But there are still a couple of states that are very, very obvious with license plates. So we'll just get right into it. I'm going to do NMPZ. No move pan zoom. All right. So right here, I see yellow. I see black with yellow here. Is that green maybe? I see white. There's a lot of different places here. I see more yellow here. I see that's possibly a state flag up there. Again, fairly common in the U.S., especially in more urban areas, especially in like a city like New York City or Chicago. You'll see a lot of different plates. Immediately off the bat, because of this plate here, and actually because of both of these plates, and actually all 3 of these plates, I'm very, very inclined to think that we are possibly somewhere in New Mexico, and I will show you why. This is the New Mexico chili plate. So you have these green and red chilies over on the left. Black background, very, very unique. The only other state that really has anything that appears to be a black background is Delaware. But you've got that kind of black, you got yellow letters, you got green to the left. You'll notice that the letters are right justified. So if we refer to this, you see kind of a little bit of green over here to the left. You see the yellow letters, a black background. Again, you see the same kind of thing here, black and yellow. You see the green here, the black and yellow. So I'm fairly confident that this is going to be somewhere in New Mexico. This architecture here would also be very indicative of New Mexico. This right here might possibly be some sort of stadium, potentially for a college of sorts. I don't know where in New Mexico this is. I'm going to do a quick scan of Albuquerque here, just to see if I can find like a college, University of New Mexico. You know what? I'll just go here, University of New Mexico. It was not. It was Santa Fe, but nonetheless, New Mexico. And as I mentioned, I believe that's because we have these plates. Saw 3 or 4 of these plates, these chili plates. They're not the default plate for New Mexico, believe it or not. They are. I think they're an option, but it seems like they're a very common option. I don't live in New Mexico. I have never actually been to New Mexico, but they may be the default plate. In any case, very, very distinctive black on yellow on black with the green to the left there. All right, we're going to look here. Immediately, I'm looking at this. This is harder to say. This could be Colorado. I see a little bit of maybe green at the top. I'm not sure what this state is. I thought it might be Georgia or Florida, but I think the lettering is blue. Georgia and Florida both have green letters. Don't know what state that is. I'm not seeing front plates, so that tells me we're likely somewhere in the southeast. Is this more New Mexico plates over here? Do I see New Mexico plates here? The black ones with the chili. This plate here, if we're looking at New Mexico, we're also thinking maybe we're northern New Mexico, more towards Colorado, Utah, possibly Arizona. This blurred out plate here, in particular, could be, and I will pull this up again, just for this blurred out plate here, could be Arizona. As you see, we've got the blue at the top and kind of a darker purple and yellow at the bottom. So I'm wondering if this is possibly the blue at the top, maybe purple and yellow at the bottom. This other plate here, we see several of these plates with this kind of darker center. No, not darker. It looks like there's possibly blue lettering, maybe yellow or orange logo or shape of some kind in the center. I'm going to look quickly at Utah and Arizona for alternate plates to see if I can potentially find which one that might be. So give me a second here while I pull those up. So let's start by looking at Arizona. Do we see anything in Arizona that could be that plate? I don't think so. These are all kind of the recent plates. Utah, maybe. I mean, the Arches National Park is usually a little bit more distinct. I couldn't tell you, but again, no front plates is likely. Arizona and New Mexico both do not require front plates, which is another thing to consider here. Fairly large city. I almost want to say, well, let's look at the map here. What do we have? This might be Arizona near New Mexico. It might be outside of Phoenix. Let's go outside of Phoenix. And wow, I was completely off. It is actually in Atlanta, Georgia. So on the note of Atlanta, of Georgia, this particular Georgia also does not require middle plates. This particular shape here is very possibly Georgia. I had that thought, but I kind of honed in on these other darker plates over here. But again, there are so many custom plates in so many states that it might be, and actually, this is a good example. I don't know what those plates are. It could be custom, like Atlanta Falcons plates or something like that. So we have this, a lot of them have this peach in the middle, and then the May 2012 to present are this kind of gradient. So by looking at this, here's that gradient plate that I just showed. I'll pop that back up on the screen real quick. You can see, here's that kind of gradient with the blue at the top, the orange at the bottom. And then if you look over here, this orange in the middle is very, very likely is very likely to be probably one of these two plates. So it's either this one here or this one. I would be more inclined to think this Sparrow, this one right here, because the orange is a little bit more pronounced. I mean, we could also, Atlanta's a fairly big city, fairly diverse. We could also be dealing with Florida plates here, but it just goes to show how wildly diverse the U.S. can be, even in terms of plates. So, not a great round by me there. All right. So we have a dark strip at top. I think there's a dark strip at the top here. This should be an identifiable plate with that much orange on it. I see a front plate here, but none here, none here. I don't see one there. No front plates there. So I'm thinking we're somewhere southwest. This brick wall here, this kind of porch here, actually, we're in South Carolina. This is a South Carolina flag. So we are going to be in South Carolina here. If I pull up the South Carolina license plates, which I will do in just a second, and this actually kind of makes sense. So again, you have the dark on the north, dark on the top, dark on the bottom, dark blue, as it were, and then you've got that blue in the middle. So when you look at this plate, you don't really see the blue in the middle. And this might actually be a Gen 4 camera, which might be why you don't see the blue in the middle. But that really dark strip on the top, and this is a white car, so it doesn't help, but you can see it a bit more here. Dark strip on top, dark strip on bottom. This is the South Carolina flag over here, and these kind of houses are very traditional of southern U.S., like the kind of antebellum era. I don't want to say, like, this is obviously not plantations, but like this particular style, these outdoor porches, a lot of brick, especially this really just is, you see a lot of that in the South from older southern cities from like the 1700s. So I'm just gonna guess that we're somewhere probably, if we're looking at South Carolina, I'm actually gonna say we're probably in Charleston. Sure enough, we were 4,900 points. And that's also partly by that architecture kind of puts me more coastal, because in the colonial times, the larger cities were going to be right on the coast. They were going to be the ports and stuff like that. So you would see more built up like that. So yeah, that is South Carolina. I would not have gotten that plate only, but that flag on the building really helped. Here's a meta for you. And I only say this because I have actually seen this exact one before on this map. This is Richmond, Virginia. Gen 4 camera without the car blurred is Richmond, Virginia. It is almost always Richmond, Virginia. This plate right here, I believe, is actually a Maryland plate, an older Maryland plate, and I will pull up which Maryland plate it is. So Maryland, until recently-ish, actually until 2016, had these plates with the flag on the left. So the U.S. flag was on the left. You can kind of see that here. This is probably a custom plate. So this is going to be in Richmond, Virginia. You can also see it right here. Welcome to Richmond. But I've also had this one before. So it's a little cheap. But that's why I play this map, because it's easier for me to understand it. Almost 5K'd it. All right, so right here, we are looking at front plates, and here is a trick. These are green. This is Vermont. Vermont front plates. Vermont is the only state in the country that has bright green, like this bright emerald green plate on the front. And I've actually been here. This is actually in Bennington. I recognize this monument. I should be able to actually pinpoint this intersection at Main Street and Merrill Street. I have driven through here a couple of times, but yes, green plates is Vermont, just straight up Vermont. And this is likely Gen 4 coverage as designated by the mass. So I'm going to go straight, zoom in on Bennington. We also have 7 and 4, which are major routes through New Hampshire. Through Vermont, you have 7 here. 4 is a little bit more north. It's up here. Wilmington, but I think, so if I can zoom in, so this Bennington Battle Monument is this is this the Bennington Battle Monument? Oh no, we're in Rutland, Vermont, right here. Again, I've actually driven through here, which is why I knew that was what that was. So I was going to be south in Bennington. No, this is in Rutland. I will 5K this. So we are in Rutland on the corner of Main and Merrill Street. Rutland is northern central Vermont. Main Street is this one. And probably the Terrell Street or Merrill Street. So it's probably Terrell Street. So we are probably at this exact intersection. And there's the 5K. But it kind of helps when you've actually been there. So, yeah, that was a pretty good round for plates in terms of learning what they were. Other than the Georgia one that I really, really missed, and the South Carolina one. Okay. So I only knew the Vermont and New Mexico. Fair enough. Play again. One more round. All right, we have front plates. That tells us we are more north. I cannot tell from that. We could be in Michigan. This could be a newer Michigan plate. To illustrate that, oops, that's Maryland. It's going to be Maryland again. I will go down to Michigan here. And where did it go? Okay. Michigan. So I think on the left, we may have the pure Michigan plate, which is this one right here. Blue at the bottom, blue letters, white background. And then on the right, we might have this older Michigan plate, which is blue on the top. Blue on the top. So I think we've got blue on the top over here. We've got blue on the bottom over here. Now, Michigan does not actually require front plates. But I don't know of any other, I don't know of too many other states that have such a pronounced blue strip at the top that also that require front plates. I'm going to do a quick scroll. Could potentially be Minnesota. Minnesota does have a blue strip at the top. It's a very defined blue strip. And I believe Minnesota actually does require front plates. It does. So Minnesota requires front plates, has the blue strip at the top, is not far from Michigan. So this could be with the blue at the bottom, or it could be a custom plate. So this may actually be Minnesota. I would just guess Minneapolis, St. Paul. And it was actually Minneapolis, St. Paul. So again, just knowing the area, knowing the plate, the front plates plus the blue at the top is probably Michigan, where if you got front plates plus blue at the no front plates plus blue at the top, it might be front plates plus blue at the top is Minnesota, where no front plates, blue at the top, blue at the bottom is Michigan. And the guess of Minneapolis was just because it's the largest city. All right, so let's look at some plates here. Cannot make that plate out. This style of building, not that we're really looking at buildings, is kind of more old East Coast almost. Just these small buildings, kind of a main street here. These streets don't necessarily line up. They're not necessarily oriented at 45-degree angle or 45, 90-degree angles. So I'm thinking we're probably in the east here. I don't know what plate this is. I can't make it out, but I will note there is no front plate on this car back here. We see another plate up here. It looks yellowish, maybe yellow on blue. This one also looks yellow on blue. It's very difficult to tell. I see a front plate over here. I see a front plate. Okay, here's another one. This lighter yellow, and now that I look at this, maybe New Jersey. It's a little washed out here. It could also not be New Jersey there, but this right here, I think, is New Jersey. Without looking too much further in the area, I mean, again, these are East Coast houses. This, I'm fairly confident, is going to be a New Jersey license plate. I will pull this up again, and I will show you why. There's a couple of states that have all yellow plates. New Jersey's are lighter than everybody else's. So New Jersey has this kind of light yellow gradient, light yellow fading to white. So I think I see this light yellow fading to white. So I'm going to guess we're probably in New Jersey. Fairly tall building. Something about this to me, it looks a little run down. So I'm going to guess Newark. Leave a like for that if you actually know why I made that joke. If you don't, no harm, no foul. Where the hell is Newark? I think it's somewhere in New York City, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm going to say we're probably somewhere up in Newark. And we were actually outside of Cherry Hill near Philadelphia. So the rundown joke isn't going to hit. But still, that was a New Jersey plate, which is fairly easy to tell on GeoGuessr because of the light yellow and the gradient. This Richmond one again. I got this last thing. I've got it before. I mean, at this point, it's not even worth talking about. I should be able to 5K this at this point because it's like the third time I've had it. But it is right downtown, right next to the James River. So, all right, here's another one. What are we looking at here? I see a front plate here, dark with yellow writing. That's interesting. I don't see front plates here. Don't see them there. I don't see any other fronts of cars, so it's hard to tell, but it looks like we are in a state that does not have front plates. So immediately goes to southeast, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and then heading up kind of Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan. This plate, I think, is a custom plate or a vanity plate or a special plate. I don't think we can go off of that. Unless you wanted to try to memorize all of the custom plates from all of the states. I think we're better off looking at this plate here. So we've got blue on top, blue on bottom, possibly a green registration sticker over to the left, blue in the middle. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is. And I think we've got a similar plate here, similar plate setup here. So we may be in South Carolina again. And we'll look at this blue top, blue bottom, kind of a blue middle. Otherwise white. We may be in South Carolina. It looks a little flat to be South Carolina, if I'm being honest. And this is an unusual plate here, this yellow one. But if I think about the states that might have that plate layout and might also not require front plates, I'm really leaning towards South Carolina. It looks like One America. I mean, it looks like we're not far. We might even be in a larger city. So let's take a look. South Carolina, maybe Columbia. I would almost be tempted to say we're probably somewhere in Columbia, South Carolina. And we were in Indiana. Okay, so Indiana is a kind of interesting one in the plate history that they have. So to go back to this and look at it really quickly, Indiana is one of the states that does not require front plates. So we are here. We're in Indiana. And then you have this blue, kind of blue in the middle. And then you also have this darker one. So if we look at Indiana's plates, we do see that at one point they did have these darker blue backgrounds. They aren't yellow though. This American flag here with the blue on the left, I think that actually may be the plate we're looking at here on this vehicle. I think we've got the if you look at the where'd it go? I think if you look at the American flag here, I think we've got the blue on the left. I think this is the American flag plate. This other one here is what I'm a little confused on. I don't know if this is maybe this one that I don't have a picture of, or if it's this one and it's just the letters are blue and that's what's giving that blue kind of appearance in the middle, because I guess the bottom could look green. So that's probably just the newer Indiana plates there that we're looking at. And yeah, like I said, I don't know what this plate is over here. It might be, again, they don't require front plates, so this could even be a custom plate of some description. Okay, so here we have a plate that should be fairly distinct, but I'm missing. We're looking at white plate with a blue bar at the top and possibly yellow writing. So there is only one state that has that kind of color scheme. And again, I'm quote unquote cheating here, but this is supposed to be educational. This is supposed to be for teaching purposes. The only state that has that layout on their plates is going to be Nebraska. Where is it? LMN. Yep. This is almost for sure that Nebraska layout. If I pull this back up, you can see you've got the blue, the yellow in the middle, and it's otherwise white. So I'm going to say we are in Nebraska. Hard to tell exactly where, but in general, I would say we're probably somewhere outside of Lincoln, and we sure as hell were. So yeah, that's the second, basically the second episode of GeoGuessr US plates. Figured I'd just throw that out there, again, using the reference guide of the plates to try to, maybe people are better at memorization than I am, but I'm not great at rote memorization. So, I figured I'd kind of go over that and give you my thoughts on that. So, we nailed every state except South Carolina to Indiana. So I feel pretty good about that. So until next time.